And we are back. Welcome back to The Spread. College football, week 13. Can't believe it. We're almost through it. So let's not waste any time today. Who had the sauce? Presented by the greatest sponsor we could ever have, Torchbearer Sauces. Accidentally healthy, intentionally delicious. Hey, it's not too late still. It's grilling season. Get out there, grab some of this sauce, put it on anything you want. Chicken, beef, steak, seafood. Whatever it is, put it on. You're going to love it. They got a million different flavors. Go to the website, check them out. So who had the sauce? The Washington Huskies defense. They've been called out all year. They said they were soft, but they went on the road as an underdog against Oregon State in the rain. And I'll tell you, they made some huge stops in that second half. Really turned it around because Michael Penix Jr. in that offense really struggled in the rain. So big sauce for them. Another team, I'll tell you who got the sauce. Arizona Wildcats, probably one of the hottest teams in college football, absolutely destroying Utah, 42-18. So you guys have some sauce, and I got one more for you guys today. UCLA, Ethan Garbers, 3 touchdowns against their crosstown rival, USC. They actually won that game 38-20. Chip Kelly's job was on the line, they said before the game. We'll see if he still is. But anyways, hats off to Garbers. Great game, destroying USC and Lincoln Riley. Who had no sauce? Well, North Carolina. They're fading away this season, losing to Clemson 31-20. Mac Brown's seat must be red hot at this point. He's obviously not a fit there. He's wasted Drake May. So we'll see what happens to him in the offseason. And then one other one, the Tennessee Volunteers. They're getting blown out at home by Georgia. Don't get me wrong, Georgia is an absolute beast again. But Tennessee shows no fight. In the critical moments, they keeps making the same errors over and over and over. So no sauce for them. But let's get out of this thing and let's get on to the 3 biggest games we have for you this week. Here we go. Number 5, Florida State, -6.5 going into the Swamp against Florida. Over under 49.5. This, my friends, is what we call the backup bowl. Both starting quarterbacks are out for the season. Unfortunately, FSU lost their quarterback. Jordan Travis, horrific leg injury. And then Mertz for the University of Florida broke a couple tackles and in the process broke his collarbone. So here we are. FSU's currently out of the top 4. Happened last night with Travis out for the season. I think that was an easy decision for the committee, but here we go. It's going to be, ready? Listen to this. It's going to be Tate Rudemaker versus Mac Brown. Now, Rudemaker last week when he came in for Travis, 13 of 23, 217 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 picks against Northern Alabama. And remember, this was Norvell's first commit at Florida State when he came over. How does Florida win this game? Let's run through it. Number 1, run the ball for 200 yards plus. Etienne and Johnson last week had 170 yards against Mizzou. So what do they need to do this week? They need to do that exact same thing plus some. FSU gives up about 136 yards a game on the ground. So that's going to be the first challenge. Number 2, Max Brown needs to throw for at least 2 touchdowns and needs to rush for about another 30 to 40 yards for some critical first downs in the second half, like third and fourth quarter if the game's tight. Definitely going to need some first down using his feet for that. Number 3, Florida's defense needs to have amnesia for this season as they rank in the bottom third pretty much every defensive category. They need to get FSU off schedule early and often and cause a lot of 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8s so that make Rudemaker, make him beat you. Those are the big three keys for Florida. Florida State wins and covers if they support Rudemaker. They do this by running the ball. Trey Benson, absolute beast, needs to have another big game. And Florida's run defense is 89th in the country. So there should be an advantage there. Number 2, no turnovers for Rudemaker. You don't need this defense to sit on the field all day, get tired. They need to have success on early downs, stay on schedule. And number 3, this one's just as important as the other 2. Florida State needs to get up early, and they need to get up often. Keep the crowd quiet, because what it's going to do is it's going to keep the energy low in the Swamp. And if that Swamp isn't quiet, that's definitely a home field advantage for them. This, for me, this is the hungriest dog runs the fastest pick. What's on the line here? Florida State plays Louisville next week. They still have a chance to bounce back into the top 4. And Florida, this is really probably going to keep Napier back. They may let him go. We'll see what happens. But I'm telling you, I really like Florida here. Give me Florida plus the 6.5. If you're going to do the over-under, I would go under. This could be a defensive game because I don't think both teams can put up a lot of points with what they have in right now. So, again, Florida plus 6.5. Time for the Iron Bowl. Number 8, Alabama. Big favorites, minus 14.5. Going into Auburn, over-under 48.5. So, Auburn really ruined the excitement of getting blown out last week against New Mexico State. So we got a few questions. What the hell happened against New Mexico State? 25-point favorites. They get blown out. How are you 25-point favorites? They paid New Mexico State, I think, $1.3 million to play in that game. So they had a pushover for Alabama. They got killed. So the second question is, can Auburn run the football enough on Bama's defense to make this a game? Hunter and Thorne for Auburn, they need to keep the chains moving if Auburn has any sort of shot on Saturday. Auburn is actually number 3 in the SEC with 194 yards per game on the ground. So there's definitely an opportunity there. They have to go to their strengths. Now, Alabama coming in, they're winning 9 in a row since that loss to Texas, what seems like years ago, that loss. They've changed so much. So Milroe and Alabama are really buzzing right now. I mean, I know they're a pick to, some people are already thinking about an upset in the SEC championship game. We'll talk about that later. But this game is simply, if Alabama wins the game, so let me start this over. If Alabama wins, it's really going to come down to this. They're going to start scoring right away. They're going to put the pressure on Auburn to offense to play, keep up, and they want them to score early and often, and that Auburn just can't do that. This game has all the makings of an old-fashioned ass-kicking. Even though it's a rivalry game, give me Alabama, minus 14.5. They might be up 14, 21 points before the first quarter's even over. Now let's get to the big game, probably the biggest game all year because of outside influences. Number 2, Ohio State going into Ann Arbor. Michigan, number 3. Michigan's also favored 3.5 at home. The over-under is 45.5. So like I said, biggest game of the year. This is a playoff elimination game. So what do you got? All the cheating, alleged cheating stuff, the sign stealing for years, hated rivals, Harbaugh suspended, all comes down to this. Last time these teams played in Ann Arbor, Michigan was the much more physical team, and they won the game 42-27. Now the question is, will history repeat themselves? Can either one of these quarterbacks shine on Saturday? That's another thing. Kyle McCord, J.J. McCartney, neither are going to sit back and just sling it all over the field. Neither coach wants that. They definitely want to have a mix of run and pass because I don't think either one of these guys are capable of slinging it 40 times a game. They're just not built that way. So first things first, what sticks out for Ohio State? The defense, right? Right away. Number 1 against the pass, 144 yards a game. Good thing Michigan can't really throw the ball forward. I guess it really won't matter, but whatever. They only allow 9.3 points per game, and they only give about 108 in the ground. So they're very, very solid. And they have the next top wide receiver in this year's NFL draft coming up, Marvin Harrison Jr. He almost has 1,100 yards and 13 touchdowns in the year. Fantastic player, big-time stud. What sticks out from Michigan? The offense literally runs through Blake Corum. Outstanding running back for them. 888 yards. I believe he has 20 touchdowns on the season. I might have that wrong, but I think he has 20 touchdowns on the season. Yeah, he's an absolute touchdown machine. J.J. McCarthy, quietly 2,300 yards, 18 touchdowns, 4 picks. As good as OSU is on defense, Michigan might be better, believe it or not. They only give up 9 points a game, under 145 yards in the air, 90 on the ground. They led the Big Ten in interceptions with 14, and 4 of those, count them, 4 of them went back for pick sixes. So great defense out there. Okay, this game to me is going to come down to a few things. Number 1, who will be the bully in the trenches? Michigan has been really much superior than them in recent years. And whose stars are going to make bigger plays? Is it going to be Corum in the running game, or is it going to be Harrison through the air? And who needs this game more? Could this be Harbaugh's legacy? Some people say they may win this, and Harbaugh might say, hey, I'm done with this. I'm going somewhere else. Not any fault to Michigan, but because of Ohio State and they're bringing up all these things, that's their take. The other take could be if Ryan Day loses this game, is he on the hot seat? Will he lose? I mean, how can you lose to a team without a head coach there? So all these things are falling into place. What I know is what I'm going to take. I'm going to take Ohio State in this game. I'm going to take Ohio State. I'm going to take the points. I'm going to take the plus 3.5. This could be a really good game coming down the end. Field goal will decide it. So let's lock that in right now. Ohio State plus 3.5. So cover the big three this week, but we're going to do one better. I'm going to give you two for the easy money. These are our two best of these. Number one, take the Florida Gators. Take them plus 6.5. And to make it even easier for you, let's take Alabama and let's give out the 14.5. That's your easy money. And as we always say, put those bets in early, put them in often. Have a great weekend. Have a great Thanksgiving. And as always, thank you so much for joining us this week on The Spread. Love having you on here. College playoffs coming up. Can't wait to talk about that. We'll see you next time. Thanks again.